Welcome to Mixed Videos Online 2023.
Subscribe now.
Number 10, Watch Dogs. The series' eponymous first title was released in 2014, and it has featured 3 games in total, the most recent being 2020's Watch Dogs: Legion. Several tie-in books and comic book miniseries set in the game's universe have also been published. Gameplay in the Watch Dogs games focuses on an open world where the player can complete missions to progress an overall story, as well as engage in various side activities. The core gameplay consists of driving, shooting, and stealth segments, with occasional role-playing and puzzle elements. The Watch Dogs games are set in fictionalized versions of real-life cities, at various points in time, and follow different hacker protagonists who, while having different goals to achieve, find themselves involved with the criminal underworlds of their respective cities. The antagonists are usually corrupt companies, crime bosses, and rival hackers who take advantage of CTOS, Central Operating System, a fictional computing network that connects every electronic device in a city together into a single system and stores personal information on most citizens. The player also has access to CTOS, which can be used to control various devices to assist them in combat, stealth, or solving puzzles. The games have received generally positive reviews for their gameplay elements, mission structure, and world design, with criticism for frequent technical issues, while the narratives and characters have garnered mixed reactions. The series has been financially successful, with lifetime sales for the first 2 games exceeding 20 million units in total. Number 9, Sleeping Dogs. Sleeping Dogs is a 2012 action-adventure video game developed by United Front Games and published by Square Enix. It was released for PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 and Windows. Set in contemporary Hong Kong, the story follows martial artist and undercover police officer Wei Shen, who infiltrates the Sun on New Triad organization. Gameplay focuses on Wei Shen's martial arts moves, fighting, shooting and parkour abilities, and on gadgets that can be used for combat and exploration. Players must complete missions to unlock content and continue the story, but they may instead freely roam the game's open-world environment and engage in both legal and criminal activities. The latter may incite a police response, the intensity of which is controlled by a heat system. Actions such as fighting, driving and racing grant Shen statistical rewards and earn the player achievements. Sleeping Dogs' difficult and prolonged development began in 2008. The game was announced in 2009 as part of the True Crime series but was cancelled by Activision Blizzard in 2011 as a result of the project's delays and budget issues. 6 months later, Square Enix purchased the publishing rights and renamed the game Sleeping Dogs, without the True Crime license, but considered a spiritual successor. During development, United Front staff visited Hong Kong to conduct field research for the visual environments and sound. Square Enix London Studios. Number 8. Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Assassin's Creed Syndicate is the 9th main installment in the Assassin's Creed series. The conceptual title and screenshots of the game were first leaked on the 2nd of December 2014, following which Ubisoft acknowledged the leaked assets, then codenamed Assassin's Creed Victory, as being genuine. The game was released on the 23rd of October 2015 worldwide on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, while the PC version released on the 19th of November 2015. 1. The game has the player take on the role of an initiate as they explore the story of the twin protagonists, Jacob and Evie Fry, both of whom are playable. The 2 arrive in London in 1868 as the Industrial Revolution reaches its climax, bringing its lot of inequality and poverty in a city controlled by the Templars. To stop their rule, the Frys will take over the organized crime in an effort to gather an army and free London. Assassin's Creed Syndicate is set primarily in 19th century London, during the Victorian era. Syndicate's London is 30% bigger than Paris from Assassin's Creed Unity and is composed of 7 boroughs: Westminster, the Strand, the City of London, the Thames, Whitechapel, Southwark, and Lambeth. Because photography had already been invented by the time of the Industrial Revolution, the developers had a rich bank of real footage and photos to aid them in their recreation of London. Still, the city was streamlined to accommodate gameplay. The landmarks' locations are geographically accurate, but the distance in between them was adjusted. 3. While London is the main setting of the game, locations outside of London will be visited during the storyline. Number 7, GTA 4. Grand Theft Auto 4, also known as GTA 4 or GTA 4, is the 11th title in the Grand Theft Auto series and the first game in the HD universe of the series. The The game was developed by Rockstar North and was published and released by Rockstar Games for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and PC. Originally intended for a fourth quarter 2007 release, the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions were released worldwide to widespread hype on April 29, 2008. GTA 4 has subsequently been awarded the gaming world record of the most successful entertainment launch of all time, and has received numerous other awards and accolades. The PC version was released on December 3, 2008. GTA 4 and Grand Theft Auto: Episodes from Liberty City were released for Xbox One via backwards compatibility on February 9, 2017. 6. Saints Row 4. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. And aliens. Aliens are also a problem. Saints Row 4 is the epic conclusion to the open-world game that changed all the rules. The head of the 3rd Street Saints is now the leader of the free world, but it's not all drone strikes and drunken in turns. Earth has been invaded by Galactic Overlord Zinyak, and it's up to you, the boss, to free your fellow Americans, and everybody else, from the virtual hell in which they've been imprisoned. Use the aliens' own arsenal against them. Suck your enemies into the void with the black hole gun. Drive the Zin crazy with the power of dubstep. Stomp through the city in a badass mech. You can also bend the rules of simulated Steelport to leap tall buildings, outrun sports cars, set aliens ablaze and fling them across the city with your mind. With new and old homies by your side, you will crush the alien threat and save the world the only way the Saints know how: massive wanton destruction. Ask not what the Saints can do for you. Ask what the Saints can do to the Zin. Number 5. Far Cry Primal. Far Cry Primal is an action-adventure game set in an open-world environment and played from a first-person perspective. As the game is set in prehistoric times, the traditional gunplay and vehicle gameplay featured in the Far Cry series were removed, too, and the player can only get access to melee weapons such as spears, clubs and ranged weapons such as bows and slings. 3. The player cannot purchase weapons and must craft them using the materials scavenged in the world such as wood and stone. As the player progresses, they can craft more lethal weapons with a larger variety of resources. Besides facing natural dangers, the player must also compete with other hostile tribes occupying the area. By attacking and seizing bonfires and camps, the Wenja tribe will move in and begin patrolling the nearby region, and the player will gain fast travel points as well as camps to rest in. Non-player characters will also task the player to rescue tribe mates and perform other tasks which improve the village, as well as provide free crafting materials. The game also features a dynamic weather system and day-night cycle, which affects the gameplay. 4. At night, more predators are present, and many become more aggressive and dangerous, whereas at the day, the player can gather food and scavenge other resources such as tools for hunting. The player can also make use of fire as a tool for personal protection or hunting at night. Number 4. Fallout 4. Fallout 4 is similar to Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas in some ways. The gameplay allows the ability to switch from first to third-person view. Enemies such as mole rats, mirelurks, raiders, super mutants, deathclaws, and ghouls return to the series. The player character, the sole survivor, accesses the in-game menus through a Pip-Boy to manage statistics, maps, data, and items. The player may continue playing even after they have finished all of the main quests, a feature returning from Broken Steel, which allows players to experience the aftermath of their decisions. There are plenty of side quests to pursue, many of which can also be experienced after the main story ends. The companions in Fallout 4 now have an affinity system, in which they can have positive or negative opinions of the protagonist depending on the choices made. The relationship does not have to be romantic however, and some companions cannot be romanced. Companions can react differently on the action. For example, one companion may like it if the protagonist acts selfish while another may hate it. Some companions can be engaged in a relationship with the protagonist, although Fallout 4 does not let players have sleeping partners like in New Vegas. Instead, Fallout 4 companions in relationships are more focused on the non-physical side of it, such as expressing their love and emotions verbally, though it is implied when sleeping in a bed with a max affinity romanced companion that sexual intercourse took place, and the pop-up for well rested is replaced with lover's embrace. While the previous games featured some minor elements of crafting in Fallout 4 is much more of a focus in, and the crafting system makes use of every lootable object in the game as a source of raw material and more. Players can also find game cartridges with retro-themed mini-games which can be played on the Pip-Boy. There was a free phone app called Fallout Pip-Boy which allowed players to sync the game to the phone app and use their phone like a Pip-Boy. Number 3. Mafia III. Mafia III is an action-adventure game set in an open-world environment and played from a third-person perspective, in which the player assumed control of Lincoln Clay, a Vietnam War veteran on a quest to seek revenge for his adopted family, who are murdered by local mobs. The game is set in 1968 New Bordeaux, a reimagined version of New Orleans, with the game world being larger than the Mafia and Mafia II maps combined. Mafia III's map is made up of 10 districts: Bayou Phantom, Delray Hollow, Barclay Mills, Frisco Fields, Point Verdun, Tickfall Harbor, South Downs, River Row, Downtown, and the French Ward. Players can complete objectives using a variety of approaches. For example, players can use the weapons provided in the game, like shotguns and revolvers, to eliminate enemies, or call for allies, who arrive in a van and assist players. Number 2. Just Cause 3. Just Cause 3 is an action-adventure game with a third-person perspective. It is set in an open-world environment on the fictional Mediterranean island of Medici. The world size is 400 square miles, 1,000 kilometers, similar to that of the setting of Just Cause 2. However, its volumetric terrain has increased to allow more verticality. As a result of this, it is possible for the player to explore caverns and scale buildings more effectively and realistically. The game's world is composed of 5 major biomes, with each having unique landmarks and landscapes. Creativity and destruction are heavily emphasized in Just Cause 3. Many objects in the game, including structures like bridges and statues, can be destroyed in a variety of different ways. A new mechanic called Rebel Drop allows the player to pause the game to select equipment, weapons, and vehicles. The selected objects are then dropped in a supply cache. The game also features challenge modes. It includes mini-games like wingsuit races and the Destruction Frenzy mode, in which new objectives and challenges are unlocked when the player destroys an enemy base. Number 1. GTA 5. Different cooperative and competitive game modes. If you've enjoyed the video, please like, share and subscribe, and thanks for watching.